what we've got. So welcome to Wellness for You. And in today's conversation, we're going to talk about mindfulness, what it is. We're going to talk about the health benefits, the basic techniques of how to actually get into it, and then everyday mindfulness. We don't want this to feel like maybe what it may have felt like, 20, 30 years ago, like woo-woo or anything like that. These are practical things in the everyday busyness life that our society is gung-ho on, and it will really help to slow things down to get you more balanced, centered, and back to a normal capacity to do the work and just feel a lot better about it. So being mindful is critically important, and oftentimes in our overbusy world, we are overwhelmed and not stopping to think at all, just like run and gun. And for example, the next lady I'm going to be talking to, Debbie, out in California, we're talking to her on her drive into work, and she's got a full-time job. She has 4 young kids. She's a single parent. There's a lot going on for her beyond just the normal requirements. So it's important for her to be able to manage that. So let's practice. So what we're going to do for mindfulness, a 5-step exercise that can use to cope with, lessen, and manage anxiety, getting your 5 senses engaged to ground yourself. So that's important. It's just knowing that life is always going to throw stress. There's always anxiety, and anxiety and depression and stress are becoming even more part of our everyday life, unfortunately, and your ability to manage will directly affect how you present yourself to the world, your coworkers, your family, your children, and whatnot. So we want to always have a smile and look and feel good. So what is mindfulness? So the basic human ability to be fully present, aware of where you are, and notice what you're doing without becoming overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around you. So in today's world, we've got marketing everywhere. There's billboards, there's signs, there's the gas station even has a video screen now that pumps out ads at you, and our phones are constantly buzzing and beeping. And if you have kids, you get home and they're constantly wanting your attention, and it's really easy to get overwhelmed. As humans, you can go back 200, 300 years, life wasn't so, it was a lot simpler, a lot more easy to manage basic needs and not have all this extra noise coming into the background and distracting us. And so it's important that we're able to be fully present now. So we have the past, so it's behind us. I always say this with my clients, past is behind us. Let's learn from that. Let's bring positive energy and fulfillment with us and learn from our mistakes. We don't need to drag our not best choices with us to wear us down. The present is where we are at right now. So if you have a lot of things distracting you even right now, you're texting or chatting or doing other things outside of just this, that would be a potential case for overwhelm and not being fully present with what the current level, what you're currently engaged in. And then you've got the next being the future. The future is where we live in and what we want to do, to live in anticipation and excitement. You want to be excited about what's coming your way down the road. We've got next week, it's my 17th anniversary, my daughter's 8th birthday, my 3rd son's 10th birthday. We have 4 kids, 13 to 7 right now. So we're going to London. So right now we're in full swing to go on prep for getting ready for London. So super excited and ready for that adventure that's coming for us for about 5-6 days of time. So it's really important that I'm fully present now, executing on my clients, and I'm not daydreaming about being in another country. But all right, so 47% of waking hours are spent mind wandering, thinking about what isn't going on. It's where like worry comes in and a lot of distracted thoughts and things that just don't keep us on task of what's important to do right now. So the more distracted and mind wandering that's happening is the less effective and productive you end up being with what's important, whether it's work tasks or with family, just being present with family. So if there's other things in the background, like even holding your phone can really cause a mind wander in and of itself. Mindfulness myths. So goal is to have a clear, empty, and blank mind. The fact. Goal is to step back, see thoughts clearly and without judgment. So we're just assessing. We're not trying to be this like emptiness necessarily. And certainly there are lots of different ways to say meditate, where we do just clear our mind, clear our body, clear and try and eliminate and keep that singular thought of openness. But there's also other ways to do it. And mindfulness, maybe rather than meditation, mindfulness goes into seeing what's going on and having a clear perspective. So you go, not being like so close to it, but you go like 10 feet back or 30 feet back to observe what's going on with everything. Myths requires being present all the time. As far as mindfulness goes, helps you consciously choose where to focus, the placement of distraction or the present of the moment. So you're able to just stay on task with whatever's important for you. The last one here is involves rising above emotion. So tends to try and like suppress or like overcome or overachieve or like put on that smile regardless of how you feel. So we don't have to necessarily snuff out the emotions. Fosters perspective and detaches from reactivity, not the emotional itself. So there's constantly inputs coming into our lives, and we don't want to constantly be reacting and getting emotionally charged, because that's very disruptive to your just everyday life if you're doing that. So being mindful allows these inputs that are coming no matter what for you to just be ability to react to them more appropriately rather than getting overworked. Now, we have the 7 attitudes of mindfulness. So patience, non-judgment, trust is super important one. Trusting yourself and your decisions and your ability to focus. Acceptance, a beginner's mind, not striving, and letting go. So these are going to be the 7 that we'll work through. So which attitudes of mindfulness do you want to cultivate? So if we go back to these, patience is just having more time. Non-judgmental is not coming in with a strong focus on judging or placing a thought or an idea on it. Now, trust is kind of went over that, is just having an ability to trust in yourself and your thoughts, your emotion, even that gut reaction, that inner, like sometimes we call the gut the second brain. So you have that gut check on stuff. Acceptance, being more in alignment with what is happening currently and owning up to all that is coming your way and receiving it rather than trying to block it out. If you're blocking stuff, that's a lot of effort and you're not actually dealing with situations sometimes there. Having a beginner's mind is just being open to change and not feeling like you've been around the block 20 times and you know what you're doing. You just want to kind of step back and just like, okay, what can I learn from these situations? Be open, not striving. So again, kind of this one reminds me a lot of just being accepting of what's happening in the moment and not just keep purposely moving toward the next thing. Letting go, as Elsa says, let it go, and not being able to hold on to things for a long time so it doesn't derail you as you move forward in this. So I'd love to see chat. Someone put it in there. Someone start it. So which one do you attribute more to cultivate towards here? Anyone? It's a great time to chat or Q&A. Doesn't matter. patience, non-judgmental, trust, acceptance, beginner's mind, non-striving, letting go. So for me, I'm going to be with, I'm going to say patience, especially when I'm around my 4 kids and there's multiple different after school events and they want attention from myself or my wife, and from the hours of 3 to 9:30, basically it's a whirlwind of what's going on. And so patience is a really great place for me to practice mindfulness because of all the demands that are being placed on me that are outside of my control in a sense. So, all right, here we got beginner's mind, we got patience, there we go. We got some people chatting it up. So if you care to expand on it, I'd love to see it. And in the chat, you can do just privately to me or in the group, doesn't matter. So so we can explore those things. So if you have reasons why for the beginner's mind or patience, would love to see those. All right, let's keep moving forward. So formal versus informal mindfulness. Formal, intentionally setting aside time, space to practice a mindfulness exercise, guided meditation being the easiest. So the example of those. So this is I'm going to stop. This is the time of the day, like morning, night, maybe you have a lunch break mindfulness practice being a daily occurrence, or at least multiple times a week where you're stopping to practice, just like a yoga practice would be. Like you would be going to yoga classes to regularly practice opening your body up and loosening and strengthening it through movement and stretch. So informal, bringing the focus of your attention to everyday life, eating, walking, washing dishes. So here's where you can slow down in the moment and get more of what you could think of as like a singular task. So when you eat, you can just enjoy the taste of your food and chew your food and not, just inhale it standing, doing 3 other things. Walking, certainly just being out in nature, one in and of itself, listening to a podcast, some music, to then create more of a singular focus on that activity. Yesterday I walked with my wife and my dog at the park, and my dog's a Newfoundland. He's literally, if he's standing on his feet, he'd be staring at us. I'm standing right now, but he's almost as tall as I am. And so he's a giant, 100-pound plus. And these 2 little wiener dogs come rolling by, and he's paws and fright of them. For whatever reason, he can manage well around the larger dogs, but when they're small dogs, he's unsure of what's going on. What is that thing walking around? So he just stands still and won't move. And so we were walking with him and kind of focus on spending time together and encouraging our dog to know that the little dogs are not going to get after him. So there's some ideas on between those two. Health benefits. All right. So of course, we absolutely know that being mindful, this is even in the last decade or two, you see a lot of things about journaling and being mindful and actually slowing down. So we know that it reduces stress. So the amygdala, the brain's fight or flight center, shrank when there was mindfulness brought in. So what we have is the shrinking of a fight or flight type center in our brain because it's more at rest. There's not constant input. You're able to resist the constant input. There's a kind of a wall or a filter, so to speak, coming from these outside messages of marketing, of kids, of people, of demands at work or other things. Prefrontal cortex thicken, enhancing awareness, concentration, and decision making. So there's physical changes in the brain over longer times, even just 8 weeks, where they were able to make impact. Decreases pain. Advanced meditators report significantly less pain than non-meditators. So you're able to be more in the moment of what's going on and lessen that pain might not feel so acute or even chronic to you, and you're able to just sit in the pain and it not resonate with you as much. Meditation removes and lessens pain stimulus by altering connectivity between two brain regions. So you have the prefrontal and the anterior condylar cortex. So where your thoughts, so if you feel pain and your body has strong attachment to thoughts of that pain, then that pathway is going to be pretty binding. So when I get poked, this is going to feel a lot more in my mind, and I'm like, ow, that kind of hurt. Whereas if we're not focusing on that connection there, it can be a lot easier to manage and decrease that feeling of pain. Builds resilience. This is super important. Life is throwing all sorts of stuff at us. You have to manage stress if you want to have a fulfilled life and really enjoy life to its fullest throughout the process of living the journey of our lives. So practicing mindfulness lessens the inflammatory response to psychological stressors. You're more resilient to what's coming your way. Inner resources are built through resilience. So you're more compassionate to others. You are accepting of what is happening in the moment. You're more open to opportunities to improve and engage and do something more fun and exciting. And you're not bound by these four walls that surround you right now. There's a lot of opportunity to be creative and move and do different things. Life is lived and you can do so much with it. You just have to be creative. Oftentimes I always joke with my clients about the nutrition aspect is that your imagination and creativity are the biggest limiters to the things you're allowed to eat. So all too often we get stuck in 1990s clean eating classic chicken, broccoli, and rice mentality of like, I just got to eat the same thing all the time. That is completely untrue and just false. Like you don't have to. You can never eat that combination of food and still manage your weight or lose weight or gain muscle without ever having that trio in the same meal. And it can taste wildly different too. If your idea of, say, weight loss is eating bland food, then good luck. Have fun with that. I'm not doing it that way. So I'm going to be a lot more creative with my food so it tastes really good. I'm really excited about what it is. So those are conversations that I have with people about just being open and creative. It boosts attention. So meditation helps counter habituation, the tendency to stop paying attention to new information in the environment. So you're able to gather, we're humans, we're constantly gathering information with our senses, our sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch. And so if we quieted our mind, we're able to tune into what's happening to us a lot more, making us more receptive to the inputs and be able to have a better way to cognitively come up with a solution or engage with the inputs better. It reduces mind wandering and improves problem solving. Hopefully we don't have a lot of mind wandering right now and we're staying engaged, and I'm trying to make it as enjoyable and insightful too. So improves problem solving. If you are aware of what's going on, you can find the answers to what you need a lot better, easier, and faster. Now, strengthens compassion. So loving kindness meditation increases willingness to help others. So in general, we can just be way more compassionate when we're living in the moment with people, and we're not necessarily out here living in other parts or areas or whatnot in our life. Now, it lessens the activity of your brain when suffering is present. So like as we said, like the amount, the fight or flight in your brain lessens. So you're less reactive to what's coming in, and it's not as acute or like, oh, I got to do something. So but it also activates circuits in the brain connected to love and pleasure. So again, we're less likely to go into that fight or flight mode, but more compassion or love and pleasure centered. And those are really way better ways to live life. All right, basic techniques. So how do we start doing these things? All right, so here's kind of the top to bottom of the nervous, parasympathetic, sympathetic. So what we have is, I'm not going to go through all this, but our body is going to react differently based on the situations. When we're in a mindfulness, everything is more relaxed, okay? Like if we look at the parasympathetic, everything's engaged. There's stimulation, there's constriction, there's focus. So there's very specific things. Where in the sympathetic, there's a lot more relax with dilation and stuff. So let's go to the diaphragmatic breathing. So known as belly breathing. So the important thing here is that when I ask you to take a big breath in, so everyone take a big breath in, notice where it's coming. So we breathe in. Now, if you're breathing with your diaphragm, you're not breathing into your chest. So when we breathe into the chest, we're not pulling our diaphragm. Our diaphragm is, it's like this pump. And so here's our lungs, and the diaphragm pulls down, filling and stretching and filling up our lungs with air. So when we breathe, we want to breathe into the belly, not into the chest. So like as seen in the picture, one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. We want the belly to go out and not the chest. So we breathe in again. And then we exhale. And as we breathe in, usually through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. So breathing in through the belly. And exhale through the mouth. All right. So let's read the practicing. So we want those hands in those places. We want to breathe in, feeling the belly rise from air. We want to breathe out. The belly falls back to normal. Eyes are closed, noticing the rising and falling sensations. So we're going to do 3 of them. All right. I'll guide you through it. So closing your eyes, hands on your chest and your belly. Just ensure you're breathing to your belly. So breathing in. The stomach should be extending. You want to try and fill your air lungs as much as you can, and then exhale out the mouth. As we breathe in, we just want to kind of clear the mind and just be at more peace this time. Breathing in. And exhale. As we exhale, more worry and stress leave the body. And breathing in. And exhale. Hopefully you feel a little bit more at peace and rest. So 4, 7, 8 breathing. So how do we actually do this is we'll inhale for 4 seconds through the nose. We'll count to 7 while holding your breath. Then we're going to exhale slowly through the mouth for 8 seconds. So what we're doing is we're really slowing down the body. We're really allowing the oxygen to get into our body. And when we're focused on these things, it's really easy to become a lot more mindful of your body, what's going on in it, and all. So let's go through 3 of these breaths. I will count all this out. So again, we can close our eyes, sitting tall in a nice relaxed position. You want to put your hands on your chest and your belly if you want to reinforce this positive belly breathing. So we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. So breathing in, 3, breathing in, 4, and hold. And exhale slow. All right, we'll take a quick break. If you realize you kind of ran out of air or something in that time frame, make sure that those 4 seconds in really fill up the lungs. So let's do it again. Eyes closed, tall, sitting up, relaxed, breathing in. And holding. And exhale. And relax. All right. We'll shake it out. We'll do one more time and then move on to the next one. So, eyes closed, sitting tall, breathing in. Try and be at peace as much as you can. Holding. And exhale. And relax. Excellent. Thank you for joining me there. Now, the core components of the mindfulness, the breathing, all that we're trying to convey here is intention, attention, and attitude. Okay? Intention of what you're doing, attention of what's happening right now in the present, and your attitude to, glass half full type mentality. So, self-acceptance equals self-control. Conscious thoughts and feelings allow you to choose how you react to a situation. As we've been saying, there's lots of input, marketing and people and needs, wants, desires all coming your way, and you have to be able to filter through that and not get overwhelmed. Because as soon as overwhelm starts and anxiety comes, lower energy, your resolve or resilience shrinks as well, and you're just not confident making decisions and choices for yourself as you go. So the benefits of being conscious in your thoughts and what's going on up top in your head, because we talk to ourselves a lot. And that internal voice is either positive, neutral, or negative. Now, unfortunately, we're humans, so even just look at the daily news. There's significant more negative news over neutral or positive news coming through the broadcast. And that's what gets our attention, unfortunately. Humans trend toward the negative. So it's something that you have to do a great job of getting out of the negative and controlling your reaction and how conscious you are of the thoughts that you're having. So you're just literally enhancing your mood, decrease depressive symptoms, fear of failure, self-critique. Like self-critique is a really tough one. A lot of people do it, and you're always critical to yourself more than anyone else in the world would be to you. Positive emotions soar. Your self-worth, esteem, your autonomy, your ability just to live everyday life really works well there, and it's a lot more calm, relaxed, and thoughtfulness happening for yourself. So incredibly important to be conscious of your thought up there and have a daily mindfulness. All right, so let's go here. Take a look around. How would you describe this office? What do you notice? So you can throw it in the chat. Obviously, there's a lot going on. Like there's trash on the floor. There's stacks of paper. It's darker. It looks stressful. The graph is going down. That's not good either. So just from a visible observation, there's a lot of challenge going on there, a lot of stress in this environment. So if I walked into this looking for a job and I saw this was the work environment, I'd quickly start questioning, well, what happens behind the door once you get the job and how it is. So there's not a lot going on in that image. So evaluation versus observation. So evaluating opinion, judgment, assessment, whereas observation is objective facts. So if we look at evaluate, it was messy, work's piling up, employees are stressed, overwhelmed, burnt, companies going under. As we saw a lot of those observations that we saw, or the evaluation of the space. Now the observation of the facts themselves, so cups, papers, pencils scattered all over the floor, paper scattered stacked high on desks. There's nobody in the office. Chart shows downward trend. Those are things that we observed to help us to evaluate the situation. So now moving into persistence, not perfection. So which way are you going in this? So we're always trying to be focused, that often gets distraction from something, whether it's a bing or a vibrate or a phone call or a person, or right now a cat trying to break into this room that we're in. We're acknowledging what's happening to those situations. We need to let it go. Like, I can't be bothered that the cat's trying to break into the door and it's just kind of bumping the door. So I hear it. That's where I have to let go of that and then return back to focus on what I'm doing. Or I could just let the cat totally derail. Last time I saw was Milky Way was doing. He's our gray and white mustached cat. We think he's the smartest out of the 4 that we have, and super soft too. Love this guy. But so he's trying to break in, and if he had thumbs, he probably would be able to just turn the door handle. So we're constantly going from focus to getting distracted to having to let it go to get back to refocus. And as long as you know that's loop, it's easy to not let any one thing throw you off. So whenever you do get distracted, it's faster and easier to get back on task, not let distraction lead to overwhelm and lack of productivity, and it just builds up and festers, and all day you're bothered about something that happened, 10 minutes into the door at work, or even in your house 10 minutes after you get off work. You're like, ready to relax. I got out of the Chipotle. Yes, I stood in line for 40 minutes for the lacrosse fundraising, for the lacrosse team fundraiser. And so you go in and you say, hey, we're doing this for the lacrosse team, and you pay, and they get a percentage. So wait 40 minutes. Chipotle's like forever. You can't do it online because then you can't acknowledge the fundraising opportunity. So you actually literally have to go and stand there. So it took forever. I was there with my daughter. My daughter and I had a great time, just chatting it up, having a good time, being silly. And then I had the order to go, and I read the order verbatim, and apparently it was still wrong. So we get home, and one of the kids is upset because he wanted a burrito instead of tacos. And when you think about a soft wrap shell taco, it's basically a mini burrito. So I had to pivot and switch and acknowledge that he was upset, but also try to figure out how to get him to let go of it, so then it didn't derail our evening even more. There was definitely a timeout in our evening because of the Chipotle taco burrito debacle. But getting back to focusing on staying engaged with my kids, eating dinner, ideally together, and being able to get the kids to bed in a timely manner, which is always tough with 4. All right. What typically distracts you? What grounds you in the present moment? So I'd love to hear chat, Q&A. Fill it up for me, please. Let's get 1, 2, 5. There's 22 people on here now, so I'd love to see more than one. So what are some of the distractions that you experience, whether it's at work, at home, even right now? Like Brian's talking, but I keep getting distracted about something. So what distracts you? I told you my cat distracted me there a little bit. My kids constantly distract me, especially when I'm on phone calls. I work from my phone, and I've been doing for years. They know when I'm on a phone call, it's clear, the posture, my presence, I'm having a conversation with myself, it sounds like, because I have headphones in. And so, you know that I'm engaged. And so they constantly come up seeking demands and trying to catch me in an off-guard stance, right? Because I'm busy, Papa is just going to say yes. And that's what they're going to do. So we have a children phone, team chats notification, work, and getting that going on. The phone is a constant, so that thing just goes off. There is articles online. One is called Better Human, and in it allowed you to really take control of your phone and your notifications and your emails and such, and have a lot more of a better relationship with your phone than your phone dictating your all day, every day, and binging and causing attention. There's a way to, quiet it, silence it. My phone makes very little noise, and I'm engaged with a lot of people all day long, and always looking for new clients too. So there's a lot of potential distraction going on in my life every day, because someone might be looking for a good lunch option right now. And so they're like, hey, Brian, it's 9:30, 8. I'm looking to go here with a coworker for lunch. What can I do? So those are all real good things. The best way to, at least the phone and team chats, is silent them and have set times in your day that you can go towards doing that. More often than not, most things in life aren't urgent, important right now in this very second. And if they get addressed in the next 10 to 60 minutes, it's still going to be okay. So, and if you want to be really good with it, then you can preference your chats with 2 people and be like, hey, would love to hear your thoughts on this. Pending this, give people plenty of time, a day or 2, or even a couple hours. Would you be able to get back to me on that? But usually throwing stuff in someone's lap like, hey, I need this now, you're never going to get the response you're looking for. So what grounds you in the present moment? Is there anything in there that grounds you that we talked about at all? You can throw that in there. So breathing, yes. Breathing. Now, there is an app. It's like, what was it called? It's a 1 minute manager. And so just do 1 minute. You can even do it on your watch. Sometimes the watch has a mindfulness thing on it. Breathing. So look at this. My watch has breathing on it. Let's see what it does. I might have closed out on you. Breathing. So I can do 1 minute. I can change that to 1-5. And so then, if you can see, it has this ball that expands and retracts. And it tells me an inhale and exhale. And there's a subtle vibration. So I can even just check in right here on my watch to take a 1 minute timeout. It even gives me a bar of like how long I've been doing it. So I can really, as the bar goes on, I want my perception and increase in attention and relaxation to help. So I can even plug into my phone right then and there and do it. I don't need an app or anything. I can just be like, okay, 1 minute, deep breaths, as many big deep breaths as I can. Actually, how few deep breaths I can, because the longer you breathe, hold, and exhale, the more focused you need to be in the moment or you're going to run out of breath. Everyday mindfulness. Yeah, that kind of literally that dog situation, like that dog, my dog's taller than all my kids on his rear feet. So that's pretty funny. We don't do pillow fights, but there's a lot of fighting with 4 kids. So, all right, design your practice. Remember, talk about it being a practice. This is something that you want to practice to get better at. You're never going to perfection, or it's never going to be, every session is going to be amazing. But the point is, if you're taking action to stop, slow down, and reframe what's happening to you, then you can have a much better practice here. So create time and space for you. Most importantly, if you don't create space for yourself, what are we doing? You're just going to be running and gunning it, and whatever comes your way is going to be calling your attention and distracting you. Experiment with formal and informal. So formal, actually setting aside time and getting into the act of doing just an actual meditation. You could go to Calm or Headspace, or even YouTube has tons of free meditations on it. Informal, let's get our Mr. Miyagi on. Wax off. So wax on, wax off. And in something as silly as that's a informal mindfulness where you're doing an activity, but we're focusing on that to create quiet. Shower, commuting to work, cooking, waiting in line. A great time to do some of this would be commuting to and from work, so that when you get to work, you're clear-minded, you're focused, you're ready for a great day. And those are the intentions that you put out into the work. At the end of the day, on the way home, you're clearing your mind, you're leaving work at work, you're not dragging this, that, and the other at home, because it doesn't impact your family life. It has nothing to do with that. So why do you want to bring all that baggage, good, bad, or indifferent day, to you when you need your attention shifted to spouse, partners, children, relationships, activities that you're doing, so you can actually have fun. Oftentimes, I tell people to go walk as well, to even 5 to 30 minutes after their work, because they've been probably sitting most of the day. They haven't really done a great job with water or even eaten that good usually in the beginning of my work with people. So taking a 10, 30 minute walking break right before they get into their actual life, their evening life, their actual life itself, they're going to be energized. Movement is energy. So walking and clearing your mind and listening to something fun or engaging to get you to separate from work stress to living your actual day, that'd be a great time. Formal practices of guided meditation, yoga, gratitude journaling is definitely important. Visualization, affirmations, sound, mantra, meditation. I love this. My wife and I were watching this. Eugene Levy is a travel show on Apple TV, and he was in the Maldives. There you go. The Maldives. And they had this underwater glass tube that you walk down into. And they were doing like sound mantras and meditations down there under the water in this glass tube, looking at all the fish and the wildlife. It was wild. I'd never seen anything like it. That's what reminded me. I'm like, wow, if I ever go there, I would love to check that out. That would be just quite a unique, at peace situation, because all you see is the fluidity in Mother Nature under the water with the fish and everything else. Progressive muscle relaxation. I love this. This one's so much fun. So usually you're best to lay on the ground, and what you're going to do is you're going to start in your toes and work all the way up to your head. And every inch of your body, you squeeze and you contract and you relax. And you squeeze for 10 seconds and you relax. And you squeeze and you relax. If you do this throughout your body, you start in like your toes and then your ankle and your calf and your quads and your hamstrings, your glutes, your abs, your chest muscles and your back and your arms and your face. You squeeze your face. You're focusing on one area of the body and you literally forget about the rest of it. And it's so refreshing when you're done. So I would definitely encourage just to go like a 5 or 10 minute progressive muscle relaxation video on YouTube, because they have those there. So you'll feel like $1 million, or at least $100,000 better than you did. Loving kindness meditation cultivates love, friendliness, compassion toward yourself, towards others, and the focus is in love and care, generosity, kindness, affirmations around this. May I or you be protected and safe. May I be happy and at ease. May I be at peace. And saying those a couple times over in a small time with breathing and focused mindfulness really creates this happy, safe, peaceful being from the inside out for you. Informal mindfulness. Walking, eating, commuting, bathing, sitting at a desk, waiting in line. So walking around, certainly we said, be one with nature as best you can. Really breathe the air, look at the green. It's beautiful out. Spring has sprung and flowers are coming up and all that. Eating, actually taste your food. Slow down and enjoy the meal instead of inhaling it. Commuting, great time to read a book and do non-essential things that can create more mindfulness or peace or fun. When was the last time you read for fun? Bathing, great time to just stop, light some candles, put on some relaxing music, right? That's usually what happens with the bath. And then sitting at a desk. So here you could have like a Pomodoro timer. So what that is, it's like a 25 minutes worth of time of go, work, and a 5 minute of not. And so you have this work-rest relationship to where you can be able to work, focus diligently, productive, then have a timeout time. Waiting in line, you don't have to be all stressed about line. You can just stop, be at ease, and relax. there as well. So it's about the way you focus on the approach of what happens there. Take a color walk. So let's check this out. What we have is before your next stroll, mentally select a color such as blue or green as you begin to walk. Bring awareness to the flow of your breath, breathing in and out through your nose and your mouth. Notice the sensation of your feet in the ground and then the crunch and the air coming with the wind. Take in the surroundings and notice your chosen color as many times, places as possible. And when your mind wanders, refocus to the task at hand, finding the colors as you move. Great, easy way to stay focused. That's my 40 ounce of water. So one before noon, one before dinner, one before bed usually is the goal to keep me well hydrated. Water is a huge thing in mindfulness too. Water to the body is like oil to a car. Oil keeps the car running smoothly. Water keeps the body moving smoothly. So just even being hydrated helps you have better brain wave activities and be thoughtful because your body's not grinding and creating friction for itself. Mindful evening. So sit down and just sit. Move stuff off the table. Remove distractions. Like get away from a screen. You want to chew thoroughly. Taste the food. Don't 3 swallows and it's gone. We're all guilty of eating too fast, me included. Tune in. What's happening around you, the smell, the taste, the flavors. My cats usually try and join in if there's some protein in there. Reflect. What was it like to eat mindfully? And when you realize this, that you slow down, you actually fill up a lot sooner, faster, and you actually will spare yourself potentially hundreds of calories at a meal because you just slowed down a little bit. It takes about 10 to 20 minutes to really start feeling that fullness factor. Yesterday with the Chipotle, I saw what the total dish was of how much food was there. I'm like, I don't need to eat all this. I drank a bunch of water and then I ate mindfully. And I ended up putting half of it into a container in the fridge before I was done because I didn't need all of it. That was probably 400 or 500 extra calories I could have eaten if I wanted to overfill myself and I wasn't being mindful. So let's chat again. How will you practice mindful this week? Hit that chat box up, please. Would love to see mindfulness this week. What is one new practice you would like to try? Out of all those things, formal, informal, are you going to do like a breathing thing from your watch or jump on a YouTube and get a progressive muscle relaxation, a color walk? That does sound pretty fun because like say red. Red would be cool. You used to look for cardinals, look for different flowers. There's not a lot of red necessarily out in the wild as is, so you have to pay attention to see it. And oftentimes, like the birds will be a delight. Yesterday, when we were on that walk, we passed easily a dozen people that had binoculars. We had this guy had this scope on his camera. It was like this big, it looked like a cannon, and it was to capture wood boring birds like woodpeckers and stuff. And there's a lot of people. Look, we were surprised at how busy that park was at like 10 a.m. It was refreshing to see that many people out and about enjoying the parks. We have a very large park system here in my area. Many parks, hundreds of miles that you can get lost on, and all over the city. So it's really cool. All right. Conclusion. Wrapping it up. Cultivate presence through intention, attention, and attitude. So intentionally being mindful, be attentive in the moment, and have a positive attitude. Mindfulness literally changes the brain. It strengthens compassion, reduces stress. We have both scientific studies and anecdotally we know this too. Experiment with both the formal and informal mindfulness and release judgment to sustain health benefits. So the most importantly is refocusing, acknowledging, letting go, refocusing, acknowledging, letting go, and constant going through that to keep an even keel in your body, your mind, so that you're overall just healthy and feeling a lot better. So thank you. We've got a couple minutes till the hour, so good timing here. On my end, I would love to see any questions. Do you have any questions on being mindful? Hopefully you enjoyed our conversation today. I did bring this to you. I see a lot of people love the color walk. Love for you to go do that on your lunch break today. Walk around the building, get out. It's proven that if you take a lunch break, you'll be a more productive worker. So stop working through lunch, eat your food, go for a walk, breathe, be mindful. You'll come back in the second half of the day, way more pleasant to be around for, most importantly, yourself, but also your coworkers too. So, all right. Well, anything else in the chat, would love to see. Support@wellable.co is email. If you have any questions, would love to answer those. If you had any of me, you could just send them an email. But other than that, it's been fun talking with you about mindfulness. I feel more relaxed, more at ease, and focused. Have a great day. Sun shining today. It's going to be like 80. So I'm looking forward to it. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day today, and we will catch you around in another one. Bye-bye.
Recording stop.